So I bought a generator off of Craigslist, and it was a small 5500 watt generator, but it didn't come with a motor. The motor was blown. The guy ran it without oil, and he was just selling the generator part. He had separated the motor from it, I guess scrapped the motor or something, and just wanted to get a couple bucks because before he ran the motor without oil, it was making voltage just fine. So his loss is my gain, sorta. My idea was to take this and put a pulley on the front or some sort of apparatus to where I can turn this manually with, human power or, wind or hydroelectric or something, hydropower, and get power out of it. That was the goal. But it's going to be a little bit more involved than I thought it was going to be, because this rotor, so this is the rotor that fits inside the stator. This fan right here would be in the front of the stator right here, cooling everything off as it spins. And in the back, this back shroud is mounted on the back here. This plastic shroud is mounted on the back, and then this shroud goes on the front. This is the only bearing though. So that's the only bearing that's in the generator part. The front part of the rotor shaft is bolted into the crankshaft. So this bolt goes all the way through, or part way through the rotor, and then the tail end, the tail end of the crankshaft goes in there. See if I can get you a shot. Yeah, and you can see the bolt where it would screw in to the crankshaft. So that screws in, and it takes it makes it to the crankshaft, and that's what spins it, and that's what balances out the front part of the shaft, and the back is just balanced on this bearing in plastic. So unless I can get a bearing on the front to balance out the shaft and keep it centered within this, because there's not much clearance in there to keep it centered within this stator, then I'm not going to make any power out of this thing. What I was thinking is I could drill some holes in this front shroud and bolt a steel plate to it, so that I can mount a bearing in the steel plate and get a longer bolt, or actually I'll get a longer shaft that fits in this hole. I'll thread the ends of it. I'll probably have to drill a hole in one end of the shaft to put a bolt on it so it'll stick. But yeah, so get a longer shaft, put it all the way through so it sticks out the front here, maybe about that far, and then have a bearing mounted to this thing. I think that makes the most sense, as long as this aluminum is good enough to hold that. Hopefully. Yep, so I got a little project on my hands. Should be pretty cool.